conservatives, even when they're on the right side of history and reality, cannot help themselves. They must fucking lie. You're not lying hard enough. No one in Canada threatened to kill trucker protesters' pets. Pet owners have 8 days to make arrangements to retrieve their animals if they're arrested. Ottawa By Law and Regulation told protesters that any animals that came to the demonstrations with them in any way, shape, or form, unfortunately truckers, that actually meant that they were in their vehicles, may have to be taken into protective custody if their owners are jailed because they're legally responsible. If they arrest you and you have a dog or a cat in your car, this is also for homeless people, they're required, the city is required to take care of them, including making sure they're kept healthy, or they can be sued. And they have the Ottawa Humane Society take care of them in the case that you're talking about. The animals are taken, and they're kept for arrangements until the pet owners are able to either transfer it back to an owner in their home state or county or city, or to a friend or relative. They can just have it released immediately because the dog's not being arrested, the protester is. The Humane Society keeps every adoptable animal until the right home is found, regardless of length of stay, or obviously just returns it. Or if you say, you have my dog, give it to my sister who lives in, a town away who isn't a protester, who wasn't arrested, or just anybody who wasn't arrested. It's the same law every single city has. Euthanasia is only done if the animal is suffering or is incurably or horribly, miserably sick. This is a no-kill shelter. Or they're too dangerous to adopt out because they keep attacking people. And I also know you can look up the Ottawa Humane Society. Even if an animal acts aggressive, they still won't euthanize it because it's, quote, ridiculously healthy. In one video you can watch, they have a YouTube channel. So what do they do when they get an animal that's not adoptable? They train it so it's not aggressive to everybody and make it adoptable. They're a no-kill shelter. So what does Fox News and Twitter and Facebook do? Remember, you're a Christian patriot. The first order of business is lying out your butthole. They're not killing any of the pets, and they won't, unless the animal is insane, rabid. This is for rabid animals. Or it's dying from something. And they're required to take good care of it because you could sue the shit out of them. And yes, it's political lying. Well, this isn't a political protest. We're protesting about our freedoms being taken away by literally fucking up commerce in now 2 countries. You made your statement. You're being told to go home. We won't go. Now you've made it a national emergency. You're literally making it to where people aren't able to get food. Again, one side of the political spectrum is making shit worse and not taking responsibility. I would say, Trudeau and them are saying, well, we'll euthanize your pets as a threat. That sounds like a threat. It took 2 clicks to find out that they were being taken to a place that's the opposite of what they're saying, that won't kill them. And I know from looking up the Ottawa Humane Society, even if the dog acts crazy and angry, if they can get it to behave itself within 3 or 4 days, they understand animals are going to freak out. Have you ever had a cat from someone else's house that freaked out and yelled at you? Have you ever tried to pick up someone else's dog or cat and found out you shouldn't do that? Well, that takes a couple of days, 3 or 4 days. If you keep feeding them, they stop growling at you. I've taken in a dog from a next-door neighbor that the next-door neighbor had to go to the hospital. The dog was running around the building and finally broke out a window because it was starving. We took care of it until he came back. He said, the dog shit in the house, but thank you for taking care of my dog. Dog was happily bouncing around. When it first got out, it was growling like crazy. We ended up inheriting him for a while afterwards because he got sick again. Then after that, never saw him again because he stayed with his owner. If a dog or a cat is loyal, usually just dogs, but cats can be like this too, to a owner, they can be extremely aggressive. And if you're in a truck and you have a dog with you or any pet and they're not growling at attackers, you need a better dog. A lot of them keep dogs that can be dangerous. And Too dangerous to adopt out is any dog that won't eventually learn to calm the fuck down. And they're not going to euthanize it. The same method for euthanizing it would be to give it a tranquilizer to calm it down so it can examine it. If the animal is completely healthy and there's nothing otherwise wrong with it, they won't euthanize it. But no. This translated to Fox News saying some people or everybody is being threatened with having their dogs killed to make them obey. You were lied to. It's the conservatives again. And again, I'm going to repeat this because I haven't had... You notice the liberals are avoiding lying more often lately? It's not that they're looking better. It's sort of like nobody volunteered by moving forward. Everyone else moved back, so it looked like one person is the person you should pay attention to. The liberals have been spending several years, almost a decade, avoiding lying, avoiding propaganda, most of them. Because they found out a long time ago from watching what happened with... other subjects I'm not allowed to say the names of on YouTube because YouTube is still fully on about flagging the shit out of you for anything that defies the propaganda they have on this website. The liberals found out by lying to people, we would just point out they were lying. And they didn't like it, and they stopped doing it as much as they used to. Republicans seem to have taken this game plan from the liberals in the old days. Liberals in the old days were the ones that lied a lot more often. Republicans lie just as much as Democrats, really, but when it came to propaganda, Democrats and Republicans used to be a lot more different than they are now. They lied as often as each other. It was politics. But when it came to facts, both sides emphasized for them. You can watch John Wayne bitching out some Republicans. This is before Reagan did the whole you aren't allowed to criticize another Republican thing. He would criticize Republicans for lying, and they actually had to apologize. That's only one incident I know of, but he did that. He also did that to the liberals, too. But lately, this is an entire party that embraces lying. You really do. Yes, I know about Al Gore and the flames shooting out of his mouth meme. I know. We know. But we're not talking about that shit. We're talking about what's happening right now. No, they didn't threaten the pet owners to take away their pets. Yes, some of them have pets that would be aggressive and they'd have to haul them away to animal control and then to the Humane Society. And yeah, they'd have to give them shots. They're not going to shoot the animal or inject it with lethal injection when they can just give it a tranquilizer and maybe give it a vaccination and it'd be fine. And it probably either, even if it isn't adoptable, all the person has to say from jail is, I grant you permission to give it to my relative. The only reason these animals are going to end up being euthanized is if the fucker that got arrested for not leaving a non-protest, this isn't a protest, it's a riot. Okay, it broke down to a riot. This was gumming up the works and making it to where Canada can't feed itself, all right? And also Detroit can't get any car parts. All that person has to do to get their animal killed is to refuse to let you give it to a relative, a friend, or send it someplace safe. The only people threatening the lives of these animals, if you're talking about it being euthanized, would be the people who are the protesters that had the dogs and cats taken away from them. Pro tip, don't criticize me. At one time, I had to take care of a squirrel, actually several times. And I know that in some cities, squirrels are not protected and people can just shoot them right in front of you. Yeah, like having your dog shot by the ATF joke, right? And in some areas, you're not allowed to take care of a squirrel because it's always considered a pest or whatever. In fact, the entirety of Britain, certain species are better than others. Racist. And, yeah, I object to that. I also object to anybody hurting any animal that's kept as a pet. Yes, I eat beef. I like beef jerky and bacon. I like pigs, too. Pet pigs are cute. Okay, but I still eat bacon. You can decide I'm a horrible person for both reasons. You like pigs. But threatening someone's pet is something that'll drive everybody crazy. Fox News and the anti-social media Republicans have to lie to you hard about this. Last thing, it's against the rules in that city to do what they're saying is going to happen because of lawsuits in the past where, in fact, they did it because the animal looked or acted rabid. No, you have to expend every bit of effort not to do that. Remember, this is a libtard country, Canada, Northern North America. They're obnoxiously liberal and they're obnoxiously animal safety, and they're not going to do these things, and you know that. So every one of you that bought into this and reposted it, you're lying shit. Because you are lying. Or are you? Maybe we should go look this up. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.